I'm back. It's been a while. I've just been really busy. I'd love to give you loads of excuses, but yeah, it's just been life. In previous videos, we've covered why I invest, how to invest, what account type to use to invest, and probably answered a few more questions, including, if I'm honest, this question in previous videos. But in this video, I'm going to cover what should I buy in my stocks and shares ISA. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not a get rich quick answer. This is just my opinions on what anyone starting out as a beginner should invest in first in their first stocks and shares ISA. Most videos out there, from my perception and my algorithms, suggest that more people out there are interested in pushing get rich quick schemes. Buy this coin, invest in this, and you will 10x your money. That's not the market. That's not what I want to do. That's not the people I want to. That's not what I want to tell people. I just want to help, and I want to be honest. So, for my journey, when I was first investing, and in fact, when I was opening my mum's, this was actually the scariest part. Creating an account wasn't so bad. Adding money to it wasn't even so bad. But picking what to invest in, I found, this scariest moment. And all these thoughts go through your head. What if I lose money? What if the fees are more than the amount I gain? Is it gambling, etc., etc.? Now, it's so scary because there are so many options. And also, there's so many people telling you what to invest in. Yeah, there are plenty of financial influencers I watch. Damien, Toby, Nisha. They won't know who I am. Maybe they never will. But there are, for each one of those ones that I would trust and listen to, I find there's 5, 10, 15 maybe bad actors. So what should you invest in? I mean, I've said it before, and you probably heard it before, but yeah, a world index fund. What is a world index fund? A world index fund is a little piece of all the companies around the world that you can invest in. And the reason I would say to choose a world index fund is if you are going to invest in a particular stock, no one knows what stocks are going to do well and what stocks are not going to do so well. So you might end up picking a stock that doesn't do so well, and you could lose your money, or you could have no growth. So the safest thing, historically speaking, is to just buy the whole market. It is well known, I haven't checked this fact, but it's a well-known figure, and people found this figure around, that only 5% of investors, and this is out of day traders who know what they're doing, will beat the market. 95% of people would have done better if they just invested in the market. And when you say invest in the market, you mean buy part of the world index fund, own a bit of every one of these companies. There are many types of world index funds, like for developed markets, emerging markets, all cap, tech, green, loads of different ones. So to keep this simple, I'm just going to give you 1 or 2 recommendations. And it's actually what I invest in and what my mum invests in. It's worth noting, I don't want to bore you, but it is worth noting a few things. So you've got accumulation versus income funds. You just look for some of them in the brackets, ACC or accumulation, or somewhere next to the fund. An accumulation fund will reinvest any dividends, whereas you've got income funds like dividend funds, which will put the dividend in your account ready for you to do what you will with. Obviously, it's up to you what your preference is, but for a beginner that's trying to simplify it, I would say just pick accumulation fund, because I'm aiming at this at beginners that are investing for the future. You've also got managed versus passive mentality, a mentality of, do I want to manage it, pick what I buy when I buy, or whether passive is you just set up reoccurring buys, invest every X amount of days, months, weeks, whatever, and then you hands off. With investing, again, aimed at beginners and simplifying it, with investing, humans are really bad at investing. You are your own worst enemy. I'm my own worst enemy. I've made mistakes. If you passively set auto reoccurring buys, then you can't, mess up. I am going to mention bond allocation. So you get funds with bond allocations, and you'll see that in one of my recommendations. But again, I'll assume you are a beginner and you want to simplify it. Let's not worry about bond allocation for now. That might be useful as you're heading to retirement, or if you want to lower risk, reduce the risk of your investments, because maybe you want the money in the interim, but then you're getting into a cash allocation. You could have a whole video on bonds and different types. I'm going to keep this simple, and stick to the goal of this video. So what would I recommend? So that depends on the platform. And again, I'm going to keep this super simple. If you're on the Vanguard platform, I would recommend the Life Strategy Fund. And again, keep it simple, assuming you're not approaching retirement age, 100% equity-based life strategy fund. And I will in a minute go into how to do that. I was going to do my separate videos on how, but you know what, it's so simple, I'm just going to do it in this one video. And then if you're not on the Vanguard platform, then you won't have access to the Life Strategy Fund. You'll need to pick a fund that you have access to on that platform. And again, I'm going to keep this super simple, and I'm going to recommend the VWRP, which is a FTSE All World Accumulation Fund. This can be purchased from the London Stock Exchange on most UK brokerage accounts. If you happen to pick a UK brokerage account that doesn't have the VWRP fund, just pick any other All World Accumulation Fund. Why? So it's because it's so easy. I'd recommend one of those two funds just because they're both so easy. They are a lower risk way to grow your wealth without having to worry about anything. And as I said, only 5% of investors beat the market. So 9 times out of 10, or if you work out the odds properly, it's more than that. Investing in one of these funds, you'll grow your wealth by more than if you stock picked. Obviously, if you happen to pick Nvidia just before it went on its massive rally, you would make more money. But what are the chances of you picking Nvidia before the rally? Now, in this video, I will now show you a little bit of how, because it's so simple. So first, on the Vanguard platform, the Life Strategy Fund. How to invest in that? Easy. Go to your Vanguard account, assuming you've already signed up for a Vanguard Stocks and Shares ISA, in vanguardinvestor.co.uk. So I'm doing this one in the web browser because that's how I manage mine and my mum's in the web browser. Log in, click on the account or investments, find the invest button. This is the scariest bit next, because when I was doing this first, I was like, oh, am I doing the wrong one? I hope I picked the right one. But yeah, just to keep it simple, just go to blended funds, pick the Life Strategy fund, assuming you're not near retirement, 100% equities, and then click play by card and follow the instructions. It really is that simple. And I'm going to put a screen share on there so you can see me going through those steps, which you probably would have already watched. Anyway, my next recommendation is VWRP, and I'll show you an example on Trading 212, but it should be the same no matter what platform you're on, or very similar at least. Again, log into your account. I'm showing you the Trading 212 app just because the app is brilliant. Top it up first. So you do need to top up your Trading 212 account first. I believe fees apply if you are topping it up over a certain amount. So check the fees for if you do want to pay by card. And I'd recommend only paying up to where fees are low or free. Otherwise, I just used instant bank transfer, or normal bank transfer is fine, but instant is quicker. And then you search for VWRP, click buy, and it's that simple. Now, those are instructions on just how to invest and what to pick. If you want to set up, which I recommend, reoccurring buys, just look for options in your platform for setting up the reoccurring buys. Won't be hard. It is worth also mentioning fees. Fees do matter, but fund fees tend to be less than 0.4%. And you do get platform fees as well. And as I said before, if you're investing a very small amount on Vanguard, although it's my favorite, it might not be the best platform for you because of the fees. But I don't want to go too much into fees. Most UK stocks and shares, ISAs, and index fund fees don't add up to that much. You usually don't really have to worry about it. And anyway, even if you get to, a few months, a year into your journey and you're like, I really want to start saving on fees, you can just transfer, set up another account and transfer. Do remember, investments can go up as well as down, but over the long term, historically speaking, I want to say they will go up. They have gone up. They tend to go up. So I've literally tried to keep this video as simple as possible. So I've not covered like gold, commodities, Forex, leveraged ETFs, sector ETFs or funds, individual shares or crypto. And that's deliberately because I want to keep it as simple as possible. So if you take anything away from this, it is consistently investing in an all-world index fund is the best way, or has historically been the best way, let's say a great way to grow your wealth. And also I hope you've seen how easy it all is. Thank you. If you have enjoyed this, or you like something about my videos, then please do like and subscribe. Otherwise, see you next time.